Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, beautiful people, and thank you so much for being here and listening to this very first episode of the Beauty Build podcast. I've wanted to start a podcast for a while now, and it's kind of an extension of my private community on Facebook, The Beauty Build, which is where I add value to the beauty industry and help lots of lovely beauty professionals with their businesses for free. So if you're not in there already, get yourself over to Facebook and into the Beauty Build group, which is where I deliver lots of my live trainings. There's loads in there already. It's been going for 2 years, and I get super excited to help people in there and go live and share all of my different topics relating to the beauty industry and share my thoughts and all of my experiences from being in the industry for so long. And that's where it all began, really, before I started coaching. And that's where I share my secrets. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. So in case you are new to my world, for the first episode, what I wanted to do was give you a bit of a background on who I am, how I got here, and what I'm all about. So obviously you've probably gathered by now that my name is Zara King, and I am the host of the Beauty Build podcast. And currently I am a 32-year-old mum of 3 gorgeous babies. They are 7, 4 and 1 year. I'm a beauty business coach with 12 years of experience in the beauty industry. I've always really been passionate about the beauty industry, uplifting the beauty industry. I've always thought that it didn't get enough recognition, didn't get enough love, didn't get enough money. And people, I think it's a lot of the time, I think it's because people do this as a bit of a hobby and a thing on the side. So yeah, I've dedicated my career the last 2 years to helping other beauty pros, basically helping them to earn more money, work less hours for themselves, and create an unstoppable mindset for themselves as well. That is my motto. So you're going to be hearing a lot about that around here. And through my one-to-one and group coaching programs, I've been lucky enough to be able to help so many lovely ladies, so many beauty businesses to get to where they want to be. And it's actually a little bit mental to me, to be honest, that I actually get to do that. And just all of the gorgeous women that I get to help every day, even for free in the Beauty Build, and just by giving them different advice in my DMs, and just every single person that I've come across, I actually find it really crazy to me that I get to help all of these people and that they put their trust in me to get them to where they want to be in their businesses, But obviously, I wasn't always this person. I wasn't always the coach that you guys see today on social media, and in my courses and programs. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the journey, because it's been quite crazy around here for some years. So I think it's probably best if we start going all the way back to my gorgeous childhood so that I can fill you in from start to finish as to how I ended up here and, starting a podcast, being this person that does all of these programs with people, and the one-to-one coach that I am. So I think, first of all, my sort of earliest memories of, myself and how I felt about beauty was when I was like teeny weeny. I was a little girl doing everyone's hair, braiding everyone's hair, doing their beauty, getting my nail varnishes out, getting my makeup out and things like that. In school, I used to get told off for it in class, even in primary school. So I was literally so small. I was probably like 6, 7, 8 or something like that. And I had loads of sisters and cousins to do that sort of thing for as well. So I was always the one doing that. And I remember when I was in my early teens, I think I was about 14, I went to work in a hairdresser's on Saturdays. And honestly, it's so good. I loved it, actually. I loved it. And I came home and I'd do like my auntie's hair and I'd start colouring and all of this type of thing. I didn't get paid very well, let me just tell you that. Obviously, it was, I think it was like £3 an hour or just something absolutely ridiculous that we got paid to be Saturday girls. Anyway, I did really enjoy it. And I felt like what I would do is once I left, what did I think? I think it was before sixth form. I think I was thinking about going on to college, or was it after sixth form? God, it was so long ago. I'm showing my age now. But anyway, I wanted to go to college and do hair and beauty, but I didn't. I actually left the hairdressers because I'd had a falling out with the boss. Let's be honest, he was a bit of a horrible person. So no beating around the bush here. He wasn't very nice, and I just had enough of him one day and I walked out. So yeah, that was that. And I also did have a bit of a hard exterior back in the day because I was being bullied at school at the time. This is in secondary school. So again, I'm 14, 15, that kind of age. Not very nice, not very nice at all. And so I had a hard exterior, I quit the hairdressers and ended up not going to college because of the fact that the people at school that were giving me grief, they ended up going to that college to do that hair and beauty course. And all I was into at the time was, hair and beauty or art and design or dancing. And I was just so creative. I didn't really love anything academic. I just wanted to do something creative. I was already dancing for a dance company, and the only other dream of that was to be on the West End. And I still see West End shows today and I think, oh my goodness, that could have been me. Which it probably never would have been anyway. But I mean, no, actually, you know what? I was actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I was actually a pretty good dancer. But anywho, so yeah, those were the things that I was interested in. I was really creative, and I went to college and I decided to go into the art and design. And it was funny actually, because one thing that just popped into my brain was when I was weighing up like the pros and cons of, do I do the hair and beauty anyway, even though those girls are there, or do I do, the art and design? And I remember like one time my mum and dad had said to me, you know what, they can't get the grades for anything else. Like, let them go and do hair and beauty. That's fine. And I thought to myself at the time, yeah, true. Like, let them go and do that. Because I still got A's to C's in my GCSEs. I was still pretty academic, even though I didn't enjoy being academic, let's just say. I could have gone on to do whatever I wanted with my grades. And I think that's always just stuck with me, that kind of limiting belief that the beauty industry, it's like you didn't need a lot to go into it. You didn't need to be clever. It's kind of not a serious career path and things like that. And so many people today, actually, they still talk to me about it. Clients of mine that have been through my coaching programs, they tell me they thought the same thing, that like, they do it on the side or it's a hobby. And I just think that's quite funny. It just popped into my head, and I remember having the conversations back then. And maybe that's why I carried the belief into my beauty business for a long time, that it was just a thing on the side. Anyway, I digress as always. So yeah, I did the art and design course basically, and I really, really loved it. I loved my tutors that I got to work with, and a few of my friends were on the course with me as well. Made new friends, travelled with them, and went to Berlin, saw some amazing art, did loads of good things. And I focused on fashion, illustration, and just fashion styling, and everything had a fashion twist on it when I did my art and design course. I loved it. And what I did was I carried on working in like retail jobs, because I'd left the hairdressers and, sixth form came round and then college, and I was thinking, right, still need some money. Yeah. So we all need money. And I ended up kind of like in one shoe shop, and then I was in another shop, like retail, and what happened was I was in this particular retail store, and I'm at college at the time. And actually I met my partner there. That would probably be a good place to start, to tell you guys that we were at the store on weekends in between college. We went to the same college actually, but we met at work, and we were at the store one day, and my other half, he's actually my husband now, he was serving a lady at the till, and she was like signing out all of these clothes for a shoot for head office. And he got chatting to her. He's very chatty, my other half. So he finds out that she's the stylist, and he told her about me and how I'd focused on fashion in my art and design course. And he got a number for me. And obviously I'm thinking, I've got to call this number. Who is this? And all I had on this like sticky note was his name, Michael. And lo and behold, I call this number. I think I'm about 18 at the time. And the creative director of the company answers the phone. Oh my goodness, I was in shock. I was just a little bit shell-shocked. I was a little bit out of my depth. And long story short, we had a chat, and he asked me to come in for a meeting. So I went to head office, met with him, met with the team, showed them my portfolio, showed them everything that I'd done in college and everything else. And we just had a chat. And yeah, he offered me the job as a freelance assistant fashion stylist for them. And I was just so gobsmacked. It was the first time I'd put myself out there, and I was getting paid to do what I enjoyed. So that was amazing. And, college was done, college was finished, and I did really well. And so what I did after college as well, I actually approached one of the major department stores to borrow a mannequin from them for my final college project. So yeah, this is where it was. And it turns out the lady I've spoken to was the manager for the visual team. So again, what did I do? Put myself out there, asked her for a job. And at first she gave me a job. She actually did, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I kept putting myself forward to work for the visual team. And I think it was about probably within a year, I ended up working in the visual department and doing the windows and everything for this company as well. So I'm actually loving life. I'm doing both of these jobs at the same time. I'm taking time off of the visual job to do the fashion styling because it's obviously freelance. I'm still at the retail store where I met my other half. I'm literally working every hour under the sun. And I'm absolutely loving life. I remember being so hungry just to kind of earn my own money. When I was younger, I always had more than one job all the time. And I think because I'd managed to get into those two really amazing opportunities for me at the time, I was fresh out of college. What I did was I deferred my uni place. So instead of going to Southampton and carrying on with my fashion and everything, I got in, but I rang them and said I didn't want to go. So I just deferred for a year because they said, you can defer for 1 year and that's it. You have to make a decision. So I deferred for the year and I never went. So I basically decided after that year had come around to not bother going. And the reason I did that really was because, I'd gotten into work, I was earning money, it was great. And I just thought to myself, why would I want to go back into education and also be quite far away from my other half? So we can blame him a little bit there. But also, I didn't want all the student loans and things like that. And I just thought, well, I'm already working, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm in roles that I really enjoy doing. So it was a win-win and I did that. So anyway, looking back on all of that now, I know it's a little bit of a kind of mishmash of all sorts of things going on at once, but it really does come down to having a positive mindset and putting yourself out there and just having that confidence or not confidence, I wasn't that confident, but I was kind of like, I'll feel that fear and I'll do it anyway and I'll speak to these people anyway. And obviously my partner as well, he put my name out there too for me. That was pretty good to get my foot in the door. So shout out to the husband. Thank you very much. Anyway, where were we? So a couple of years into that, I think I was doing that for probably about 2 years. And then me and my other half decided, we want to save up to buy a house now. And instead of working these 3 jobs and really not earning enough money, I decided it was time to make a change. So I remember we sat together one night and my other half, he said to me, why don't you just work with your sister? And at the time, my sister was working for a bank in their call centre, in their sales department. And I thought to myself, yeah, actually, she's on a really good wage, gets lots of bonuses all the time. And it would really help us to start saving for this house. So I was confident that obviously if I smashed this interview and they knew my sister and she put in a good word for me, they'd probably get the job. So lo and behold, I smashed the interview and I got the job. So it was at the bank actually where I think I really learned how to communicate with people a lot better. I'd already obviously done a lot of that, but it kind of upped my game a little bit. And it was a corporate setting, and I did loads of training with them, and I learned how to sell to people. And I was always one of the top target hitters. And it really boosted me, and it gave me the income that I wanted. I earned some pretty hefty bonuses as well. I think I'd actually never earned so much money. I think I was earning around 37 grand, and to me that was huge at the time, and it was all going really well, and I really loved that job as well because it was actually so much fun. It was quite relaxed in the office, and to the extent that I remember one day we had to hit a particular sale, and if we did, we got to play hide and seek with the office managers, basically, if you can take that seriously. And if they couldn't find us, we got to have the rest of the day off. So obviously I got my sale, and I was out of there with a few of my mates by about 10 a.m. And we literally still laugh about it today. So that's how relaxed it was. Although it was selling and it was a lot of work and it was fast paced and all of that, it was actually hilarious and we loved it. So I was there for about 2 years, and as I say, it was all fun and games. And then one day there was rumours going around that the office was going to close, and we actually did get made redundant, and it was a massive kind of shake up for me because, you know, the panic mode sets in, and I knew that I already had some savings for the house, but I knew it wasn't enough. And, you know, I knew I'd get a few grand in redundancy pay. I knew that we had some time as well at the company because they actually gave us quite a long notice period, which was really handy. But I was just thinking to myself, like, what the hell am I going to do? So another long story cut short for you all, I decided to put the payout to good use, and I actually trained in beauty like I'd wanted to when I was younger. So I think the company actually said as well that they'd pay for further educational courses for us. So I think in a roundabout way, I got a payout, and I also got the courses paid for, something like that anyway. So whatever it was, I put it to good use and trained in beauty. And pretty much straight away, I started my mobile beauty business. So I got to work on that. And then I had to leave the bank. And obviously, being the person that I am, I had to do something else when I left the bank because I can't just have one job. And, you know, working on the beauty business wasn't enough for me. And I was kind of worried that I'd miss the salary and the bonuses. So I went for another sales role. And I think as well, because I still had that limiting belief that the beauty thing was kind of like something on the side. So anyway, I went for another sales role. I went to about 3 interviews on one day, and I got offered the job from all 3 companies. And in hindsight, I really do put that down to growing my confidence, having a positive mindset, and all of those things as well. So one that I ended up going with, I ended up being there for 6 years as an account manager. And this is where my personal development really kicked in. But at first, it was a whole new ball game for me. It was literally serious business, serious systems that I'd never used before. It was a whole new industry for me. And, you know, instead of selling financial services now, I was selling air conditioning. But the corporate side of it, it was definitely a bit of me. I absolutely loved it. I loved the responsibility. I loved having my own database of clients. I loved the recognition. I loved like feeling positive about myself. And I actually got really, really good. And actually I got quite technical as well, if you like. So if you asked me anything about air conditioning, I could probably still tell you a thing or two. But anyway, I was, you know, meeting with project managers. I was going to site. I was meeting company directors. And I did really learn a hell of a lot from some really successful businessmen and women. And I actually turned over more than £2 million a year for the company every year after my first initial year. I think I hit about 1.3 or 1.6 in the first year. And then from then onwards, I just got so good at what I was doing. I had a great relationship with my clients. And yeah, you could say that's where I got sort of seriously good at crunching the numbers, tracking everything, building relationships with people, you know, plus all of the fun stuff that comes along with it, like the presentation, standing up in front of people, the spreadsheets, all of that stuff. And again, I really loved this job. And I felt like up to this point in my life as well, that everything I wanted, I received. You know, I was always a believer of the law of attraction since I was really young. I was always into personal development. I was always reading books. I was always looking at positive quotes. I was always having, you know, ways of keeping on top of my positive mindset. And I just kept developing it over time. And while I was there, I was still obviously mobile at this point in my beauty business. So for the first 2 years of being there, I was mobile every night, every weekend, and I was fully booked during the hours that I could work. So every night I'd be working up until about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Every weekend I'd be booked, and I got really, really burnt out. And I think, when you're traveling around, should I say, seeing people all the time and just on the go constantly, it's so hard. So when I moved into salon, it actually came about in 2015, and my brother-in-law actually opened a hair and beauty salon, and he asked me if I wanted to help him out, and I just decided to go with it. So what happened was, we opened the salon. There was a hair salon at the front. I had the beauty room at the back, and I shared it with a couple of other beauty therapists as well that were there during the week while I was at work. And I kind of oversaw the interviews and the trade tests as well. So whenever we took on new beauty staff, I always helped everyone with that. I always helped everyone as much as I could. I helped with clients and cancellations and things like that, and anything that kind of came up with the clients as well. So I kind of took on a role as the beauty manager, even though that wasn't really a thing or a title, or, I certainly never got paid for it. Let's just put it that way. But being in the salon, it actually alleviated some of the burnout because, I had a base. I could come and go. I could go to work and then go home rather than traveling all around all evening and every weekend. But even saying that, I was still 100 miles an hour every single day because I was, back to back, should I say, when I was in the salon. And of course, the account management role as well, that was taking its toll, and that was full time. So what happened then was, we wanted to start a family, and I fell pregnant with my first baby. And so I went on maternity leave from the office, and it was lovely, actually. All of my clients gave me such a good send off, and it was really a scary time for me to leave that job because I absolutely loved it. And you get quite territorial over your accounts when you're an account manager as well. So anyway, went on maternity leave, and I took some time off from the salon as well. And I didn't really go back to the salon after having her because there was only a few appointments where I'd get a phone call and they'd say, Zara, can you come in and do this Hollywood wax and things like that, because no one else could do it. So there were a few things where I would still pop into the salon and still do a couple of little bits. And I would always go in anyway and see the girls, and, the baby would be around, and I'd be getting my hair done in the salon and all of that. It was quite a good family vibe. But I didn't go back to work there really for a while. So I think I'm digressing again, as always. But what I did eventually was, I thought I'll work from home around, the baby's bedtimes, and I'm still on maternity leave, but I'll see a couple of clients, and it was going really well. And during the maternity leave as well, what I did was I started another small business designing and printing personalised clothing for kids and for mums and babies. And I did that with my cousin. And, we used Illustrator, we got a professional cutting machine, we had a heat press, and we did all of that kind of stuff from my house. Because in and amongst all of that, I actually did buy my first home with my other half, and we renovated it, we moved in, and we did all of that from our house. And we became a stockist as well for the Billy Fairs My Nelly brand. So we sold that along with our stock, and it was really good. It was where I felt like I got my art and design back, and we had a really fun time doing it. But it was a tough slog, doing all of that on top of everything else. So we did keep it quite small. We had a website, we had a Facebook page, we put a few ads up here and there. But anyway, then my year of maternity leave ended, and I went back to my full-time account management role as well. So at this point, I've got a full-time job in sales, I've got 2 businesses on the go, and a baby. And you're probably thinking, how on earth did you manage any of that? But what I did was I stayed another year at the office while I was running my beauty business from home, and the clothing business in the evenings and the weekends and things like that as well, all around, little girls, nursery times, bedtimes. And it was manic. But I also realised in that time that in the corporate world, after having a baby, you're treated really differently. And as sad as it sounds, I was particularly treated very differently. It wasn't the nicest thing to have to go back and have that knock. And, I felt like the recognition was gone. It was non-existent. They sort of treated me like as if I was a part-timer because I was leaving 1 hour early. I did only have half of my lunch break, by the way, just putting that out there. But yeah, they treated me completely differently. And, I realised as well that job was taking away my time from the businesses because I'd got them going really well during my maternity leave. So now I'm back at work, I didn't have as much time on my hands to do things like the social media and all the things that come along with it. So what did I do? So as I said, I stayed that year, and then I actually got pregnant with baby number 2. So I took my maternity leave again. I had the little boy, and eventually I decided not to go back after the maternity leave. So I told the business, I'm not coming back this time. And, I think they were quite shocked because I was kind of like part of the furniture. But more than that, it was really super scary for me because salary wise, I think I was on about 43,000, and I was really nervous to lose that. And, the benefits and maternity pay and all of this kind of thing that comes along with being employed. So I was super nervous, but I thought, you know what? For my own well-being, for my family, I've just got to do this. So I got to work on the beauty business, and it was going really well, and I got new clients, and I upped my prices a little bit. I offered some new treatments, but again, me being me, I then took on something else. So I went into affiliate marketing because it actually complemented the beauty business. I never really looked at it in the past, but this particular one was all skincare and it was all wellness products. And I know you're probably thinking again, like, how the heck did you manage all of this, Zara? But, in all honesty, I actually have no idea, but I just cracked on with it all. And it was in that kind of affiliate marketing business that I actually really learned about the aspect of working online and passive income. And, I started doing a lot of Zoom calls and presentations and in-person events as well, speaking in front of people. And it was just a huge shift in my personal development again. I was reading books, I was attending trainings on business and mindset, and it just kept fueling me even more and more. And, I got to work with some amazing coaches and some entrepreneurs, and it really did shape my thoughts when it came to kind of working online, helping other people. And I actually wanted to become a coach there and then, but I just didn't know how or exactly what I was going to coach people on and what I wanted to focus on. Anyway, as time went on, me and my cousin then decided to stop the clothing business. She just had her first baby, and we didn't have the time to be designing things and then printing them and processing the orders. And, we were still running to the post office and all of that goes along with it. So, we stopped that. And I went full throttle home-based beauty with the affiliate marketing alongside as well. So it finally felt good just to have kind of 2 things on the go again and not 3, and I was leading a team in the affiliate marketing side of things. I was helping them with their businesses. I'd started a YouTube channel at one point. I was, selling more and more, and my confidence was just growing and growing even more in my beauty business as well. I finally felt like my beauty business was in the best place possible. I was earning more. I was working around the kids. I was literally so happy with all of the decisions that I'd made to bring me to this point. And then what happens? The pandemic happens, doesn't it? So obviously I couldn't work in my beauty business, and the affiliate marketing side became a lot harder for me as well because there were no more in-person events. And, because what I used to do was kind of get everybody together and do facial events and have like snacks and like just put on some sort of, cool event for all of my clients to come and, have facials, try products. And that's how I would do it. And they were just so much fun, and we couldn't do that anymore. Anyway, my babies were obviously both at home. The nurseries were closed. So the schools were closed, everything. So my little girl needed homeschooling, and my little boy was always around. And I just got even more burnt out, really. And instead of working in my businesses, I decided to dwindle down on the affiliate marketing side because it was crazy carnage at home. And I solely wanted to work on my beauty business. So, something did have to give, and eventually it was that. So that's just a long story cut short, really, because that didn't happen overnight. But I slowly kind of decided that that's what I was going to do. I really wanted to be present with the kids, but I also wanted to come out of the pandemic on top of my business. So I actually learned website design. And I updated my website myself. I got a booking system. I did lots of courses with the best people in the industry in nails and everything else. I took a course to help me grow my business even more as well. So I took a course with a coach that was all around marketing your business and everything else. I literally just put myself out there. I did lives. I got my clients involved, even though we couldn't get together, obviously. I did lots of lives. I got myself out there on social media. I talked to different brands. I talked to educators. I was looking at becoming an educator at that point. another long story short, I actually basically came out of lockdown super busy, busier than I'd ever been. And I had people coming to me that had found me through social media, through different people, and, you know, had been wanting to get in with me. And I'd always kind of had a wait list for a fair few years for a few different treatments, but this was like ridiculous. I couldn't take on any new clients. And it was the first time that I said, oh, okay, I'm not actually taking on any new clients, especially evening clients. But yeah, I started earning 4-figure weeks, and I was realizing, like, if I can earn 4 figures on my own from home, even around the kids, after a pandemic, I must be doing something right. And, you know, I was doing it all myself. It did take its toll, don't get me wrong. I was kind of staying up late to get things done. I was tired. And, you know, what I realised at that point was that I'd got the business to where I wanted it to be, but I also needed to take a step back from doing everything else, because in our businesses, I think, you know, we do everything, don't we? We do the website, we do the sales, we do the social media, we do the accounts, we do, you know, we do the cleaning, we do everything. And it was hard. So I upped my prices again, and, you know, I didn't actually lose many clients. And I realised that I had to keep streamlining my menu. I had to keep upping my prices so that everything felt a little bit more aligned, so that I could earn more and sort of see less clients, if that makes sense. And that's when I took on one of my friends as well and paid her to do my social media for me, because I just couldn't do it myself. And at this point, I'm feeling like so in control of everything in my life that I felt like I had the power to ramp it up and ramp it down kind of whenever I wanted to. So if I wanted to change my hours, it seemed to always work out for the best. And, you know, all of this is a lovely place to be in, I know. But obviously I'd been through a good, hard, long slog of all of those things I've mentioned today. And, you know, now I've got people coming to me that wanted to work in my business with me. And, you know, I did actually decide to ask someone to come in and do aesthetics rather than actually come and have someone work in the business with me, because I have a friend in aesthetics and she's very, very, very good at what she does. And I knew I didn't want a team at that time because, you know, I worked from home and having people come in to work for me would have been a bit difficult. But it certainly got my cogs turning, and I did everything that I could to leverage my time at this point, basically. If you don't know by now, I wanted to have the flexibility to work around the kids, you know, without the stress and without everything else. So I did everything in a way that supported me and supported my kids and my life. And, you know, over the years, you can probably tell I have had the massive opportunities to work with some of the best people in the industry, learn from some of the best people in the industry, and obviously other industries as well. But what I always did was I always took everything I'd ever learned from each experience or job role in my life, and I applied it to become the best version of myself. And I just applied everything to my life and my business. And, you know, obviously I had my fair share of, you could say, setbacks or challenges or, you know, hurdles, whatever you want to call it. I've really only kind of shared, I suppose, a bit of a glimpse today because I have to try and get all of this into one episode, which is difficult. But I think when you look at all of the obstacles that I had or all of the challenges, the way I saw it was that, you know, this is an opportunity to either learn from this and win, or it's going to be growth. So I always say, you know, you win or you grow, and that's it. I think if you can look at your obstacles like that along the way, you'll definitely get to where you want to be in your business. So as my beauty business was where I wanted it to be, and I was putting myself out there a bit more, you know, I had a lot of people asking me, how do I do it all? And to be fair, I'd actually had people asking me this for years, like since I was in the salon and stuff. And, you know, because especially like I'm doing this alongside being a busy mum. I had a full-time job back in the day. So, you know, I was always helping people anyway. I was always helping people with, you know, questions and even with their treatments and stuff. And, you know, I just realised that I had so much experience to share. And instead of going into education for the skill side of beauty, which was next on my agenda, I actually decided to get qualified as a coach at the end of 2020. And then I decided to train in NLP. And then I decided to start the group, the Beauty Build, in 2021. And, you know, that's when the Beauty Build was born. So I could add some free value into the world. So, you know, I could do that alongside coaching beauty business owners one-to-one. And everything that's kind of happened since then was just unbelievable, really. I got pregnant with my baby number 3. And prior to that pregnancy, I just finished a program with another incredible coach, actually. She helps female coaches, you know, live in abundance and get everything. She's incredible. So then I took on another coach. This is one-to-one. And he helped me take my coaching business from where it was to another level, all while I was pregnant. And so by the time baby number 3 came along last year, I'd helped so many more women. And, you know, I'd done my group program. I'd just done so much more coaching than I ever thought I could do in the first 2 years. And I just realised how much you can do when you really do put your mind to it, and how helping people is really where I want to be. And I realised that I had to help within the industry and within the business side of things, not just the skill side of things, you know. So yeah, now baby number 3 is actually coming up for 1 year, and feels like it's just the beginning. And you know, that's why I've started this podcast. I want to share more of my knowledge and experience with the other people who are passionate about helping beauty pros, you know, who are passionate about the industry, and I want it to be accessible to even more people. And to this day, I'm actually still working with a handful of beauty clients as well. You know, that's mainly friends and family or clients who have become friends, but I'm still doing nails, I'm still doing brows, lashes, things like that. And of course, I'm still working one-to-one and in my group program. Let me put my teeth back in. And, you know, my brand new course is going to launch this year as well. So there's just so much going on. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I think that's my story. Now you know. As crazy as it is. And I think even hearing myself talk about it and trying to remember everything is crazy to me. And I just think, wow, at 32 years old, I'll be 33 next month. But at this age, I literally feel like I've experienced so much in life and in the business and in the industry and different industries as well. But I also feel like I'm just getting started all at the same time. It's just incredible. So absolutely love what I do. I'm definitely here to help you guys earn more and work less and have the best lives and have an unstoppable mindset, and absolutely love your businesses. So if you're still here, thank you so much for listening to my ridiculously long backstory. Now you know who I am. I'm not any different to any of you guys listening. You know, I didn't have a huge helping hand. I've had loads of struggles. I've had loads of chops and changes, and I've just made it work for me and my family. So, you know, whether you're just starting out in your beauty business or you've been in the industry a while, I think that there's always just something new to learn. There's something new to discover. And in this podcast, we'll be exploring so many different topics related to the beauty world. We'll be talking about strategy, we'll be talking about marketing, clients, industry trends, sharing tips, tricks, success, and, you know, discussing the opportunities and, you know, also the challenges that are facing the industry today as well. So, you know, this podcast is going to be about that side of things, the business side of things, but it's also going to be about living a life that you absolutely love and the life that you deserve. I want to inspire you and other people to join me in this mission to uplift the industry. So if you are passionate about all of this too, and you're ready to learn and grow, this podcast is definitely for you. And I'm really excited to get going on the journey with you. I can't wait to see where it all goes and to see more beauty pros getting to where they want to be as well. That is literally what lights me up. Every time a client tells me that they're shocked at how far they've come, it just gives me the tingles. So right now as well, I actually have an incredible freebie for anyone listening to this very first episode. I do ask a favour of you. Basically, at the moment, I'm asking all of my gorgeous beauty pros to fill in a questionnaire for me. And in regards to thanking you, I have got £600 worth of my paid program trainings that are tucked away, ready for you to get your hands on for free. So if you're looking to up your beauty business game and get more clients in, just message me on Instagram at Zara King, ZAARAKING, and the link to all of my socials are in the description, and I will get the details over to you. Some of the gorgeous beauty pros that already have access to that are seeing incredible results. To be honest, it's my paid program, so they damn well better be. I absolutely love to see it. So if you haven't already done that questionnaire for me, just ping me a message and I will send you the links and get you the access to my free £600 worth of training. That's super exciting. But yeah, thank you so much again for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.